Hello, and welcome to Queeries, the show where we discuss local Daytonian news. I'm your host, John Evans, and with me today is RJ McKay, a representative from the Greater Dayton LGBT Center. Welcome, RJ.
Thank you, John.
To get things started, and for those who are unaware, why don't you just describe what the LGBT Center is here in Dayton and the resources and work they provide for the community?
Yeah, definitely. The Greater Dayton LGBT Center is about a 46-year-old organization here in Dayton, and we pretty much advocate and empower the community of sexual minorities here in Dayton. So anything under the LGBTQ plus umbrella, we definitely want to help folks, provide advocacy, education, outreach. And we do that with a myriad of social events throughout the year. We have support groups. We have free health clinics, free yoga classes, just kind of a whole myriad of programs and events and things. And then, of course, we host Pride, which not everybody, but most people know about.
Mm-hmm. With your time at the LGBT Center, do you think that there's been a specific and a significant impact through a certain program that you guys provide?
You know, I think the biggest impact that we've had is in the overall LGBTQ Pride celebrations in June. We just had a small event to celebrate some big news, but we invited some past board members, and we were kind of going back and reminiscing about prior days when Pride used to be a $10,000 festival that was just like a dinner on Friday night and a small thing on Saturday, and we didn't create much ripples or much waves, and it was a good event. It was a good crowd, but it wasn't overly huge. Whereas this past year, Pride 2022, we had over 32 corporate sponsors sign up, which they donated a combination of nearly $55,000 just in corporate sponsorships and donations. That goes in on top of all of the other money that the center makes on Pride. Pride's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So the folks that come out as vendors have to pay a small fee, and the people that walk in the parade have to pay a small fee. And we turn around and we take all that money and we give it right back to the community. So all the sponsorships and all the donations and everything raised at Pride end up as programming and events for the center. So back when the center had a $10,000 Pride, we could only give $10,000 back to the community as far as, in the ways of programming and social events and community dinners. And now we have, I think our actual budget, our grand total budget for 2023, we're going to come in at like $120-some thousand. So to know that we've grown more than tenfold in the about decade that I've been on the board, really shows how the community has come along, both nationally and locally, and it's a good reflection of all of the volunteers and the hard work that they put in through the years.
That's amazing, and it's amazing to see the exponential impact and the benefits that come from building upon year after year with this amazing center.
Definitely.
To build off of that, how do you see a future for the LGBT Center as you guys grow?
Actually, there's been some big news recently that is going to be coming out shortly. This past week, we just closed on a kind of what I call forever home or permanent building. The center has historically always either borrowed church space, borrowed office space. The Fair Housing Center used to give us their conference room once a month so we could hold our meetings. We would do community dinners in church basements. There was a couple times through the years that we would rent like retail storefronts in shopping centers. And most recently, for the past 6 years, we've been renting a space on Jefferson above one of the LGBTQ bars. And that space is really kind of helped us to grow. It's kind of one of those, we had to grow to get a space, and then once we got the space, we were able to grow more. Just last week, we knew our lease was coming to an end, basically. So just last week, we bought a building over on St. Clair. So the Greater Dayton LGBT Center, over the next 6 months, will be moving to 136 North St. Clair Street.
That's fantastic.
It is.
It's a good move.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you mentioned that there's like a lot of community engagement within the LGBT centers. Have you, with your role in the LGBT center, kind of experienced collaboration with other great programs like Daybreak and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of amazing thing is, before I got involved with the Greater Dayton LGBT Center, I had actually started a 501c3 to help gain traction and education and understanding to fight the marriage ban in Ohio back in 2004. So, I kind of started with that and made that a collaborative effort. And then at that time, it was kind of the center, it was PFLAG, it was Diversity Dayton, and that was about it. There may have been a couple churches that were LGBTQ friendly, but not really advocating. And then through the years, Dayton has really blossomed to have so many great organizations. PFLAG is still around. The Greater Dayton LGBT Center, stronger than ever. We have great organizations like Have a Gay Day. We have a newer organization specifically for younger folks that's called Visible and Resilient. We have, I believe, at least two or not, if not all three local colleges have LGBTQ plus kind of GSAs, gay straight alliances. The outreach into local other schools, on the high school level, we've got tons of GSAs. GLSEN was really impactful a couple years back, and I think they've morphed kind of into what Visible and Resilient is now. So just to know that there's so many LGBTQ plus organizations in and around Dayton, they're still popping in my head. Dykes of Dayton is a new one, specifically for women. There's I believe a couple new men's groups that are forming and coming up. So we don't look at any of this as like competition or anything, but we actually refer folks out to those organizations and those groups because everybody's found a way to do the work within the Dayton community that needs to be done. The Greater Dayton LGBT Center, especially when we have our building, is going to be able to be that kind of base, that home base or that central location, and we get tons of phone calls and hits on our website about resources. I got kicked out of my house, I came out to my parents, what do I do, where do I go, help me. And so we are able to refer them to Have a Gay Day for food insecurities, or we're able to contact put parents in contact with PFLAG. So really, to see what Dayton's become as a greater LGBTQ plus community with all the different organizations supporting each other has actually been really great.
That's amazing. And it's just amazing to know all of these programs kind of build up to one greater community and sense of.
Definitely. And it's really evident. The first weekend of June every year is Pride here in Dayton, and to see all of the different organizations come together as one community, under one pride flag, all the various different aspects of our community just being united and coming out to Courthouse Square to see the Greater Dayton LGBT Center's rendition of Pride each year, and the thousands of people that for just one day can be their authentic selves, is truly amazing.
No, it's truly amazing. Yeah. And one thing I'm curious about is because being in Dayton, you can feel that it is a different environment than other cities in America. Do you think that this overall sense of community engagement within the LGBTQ community is rooted in Dayton itself, or something that the LGBT Center has provided?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Dayton has always been a really great community in so many different facets. We've always been a place of innovation, a place, I don't know how many different patents have been, created and filed from folks that live here in Dayton over the past couple hundred years. But, from the Wright brothers to, the electric auto starter to, just all the different things. So I think innovation is a big part of the spirit of Dayton. And then that kind of drives into all the various different niche communities, of which the LGBTQ plus community is kind of a niche community. So we've seen the innovation within the community, and there's always new groups coming along and popping up, and they're welcomed with open arms, and they always fill that need. Some some organizations, even the center, over the years, every organization's going to flounder a little bit and make mistakes, or kind of as volunteers come in and out, they kind of lose a sense of identity. But right now, I think Dayton and all of our LGBTQ plus organizations really have a good sense of identity. They have a good, solid base of volunteers, and we're really working to collaborate and kind of come together to make sure that we do show that united force.
No, yeah, that's amazing too. And just talking about all the organizations and the center as a whole, I don't want to cloud over the fact that there are a lot of people working for all these organizations. You yourself are one. Could you explain the role you've had with the LGBT Center and just the work that it entailed?
Yeah, I mean, my work is a labor of love. I mean, like I mentioned, I started Diversity Dayton in 2004, and we were kind of instrumental in getting folks out there and putting a face with the LGBTQ plus community. We made the news several times through the summer of 2004 and 2005 for having, we would just put on street side rallies. So we'd be at the corner of, Far Hills and Schroyer Road, or Far Hills and, anyways, right in front of Town and Country Shopping Center. And we had 50 people out there with signs supporting marriage equality. And, people were flying by, hawking thumbs up. And, we saw the "You're number one" a couple times and said, well, they'll come around. So for me, volunteering is just kind of a part of who I am. And, I understand and I see that the little bit of time that I can put towards community and put towards an effort, if 100 other people put in the same amount of time, it builds into something great. And that's why the Greater Dayton LGBT Center has become what it's become, and that's why our community is as strong as it is, because there are folks that see those needs and want to make the world a better place. So, we come out for different reasons, and we volunteer for different reasons. Mine was, just something that was part of me, and also part of that fight for equality. I've been married to my husband Todd for since 16, so that'd be 6.5 years, going on 7 years. But actually, just the other day, we celebrated our 25th meet-iversary. So, we've been together for 25 years, and the fact that for a majority of that time we didn't have the right to legally marry, that's kind of the fire behind all of the why I do what I do. Now that we've gotten marriage equality, it's building community. So in the Greater Dayton LGBT Center, I came onto the board about 10 years ago. Then when the treasurer spot was open, I've got a background in finance, so I volunteered to fill that spot. And then when the current president became executive, or the then president became executive director, then I went ahead and moved up to the president role. And then finally termed out just recently. So, I was actually very happy to turn the reins of the Greater Dayton LGBT Center over to, some fresh new young faces. We've got pretty much a whole new board. The board rotates every couple years. So I think I was kind of the last of the folks from quote unquote my era. and it is, but it's a great, very powerful, very energetic board that's going to take what is currently built and just make it even that much bigger, that much better.
That's amazing too. And it's so inspirational to see that there is such a drive behind the work you do because of the causes that you are advocating for and the community you're advocating for.
Right.
It's very evident. And just to make an announcement as well, you had that big announcement about the LGBT Center moving. What does that mean for the future of the center?
So really, that is pivotal for the center because number one, we've always either shared or leased or borrowed spaces, and now we have one that's our very own that we can actually turn around and share with others. So, all the other groups that I mentioned before and any groups that form or any even just non-official groups, people that want to get together and are pro-LGBTQ plus are welcome to come and use the center and use our space. Our current space is about 5,000 square feet. We've got a kitchen, we've got a great room, we've got a couple conference rooms. The space we're moving into is double that. It's about 10,000 square feet. And same thing. We're going to set it up with a great room, a couple conference rooms, some offices, a kitchen, and some multi-purpose rooms. We've got a library. There's just so much that we have to offer to the community, and we're more than happy to share it with the community. And we hope that the community also, kind of in turn pitches in over the next 6 months, helps us build the center. And kind of, there's some remodeling to do, there's some painting to do, there's some cleaning to do, and, there's always work. So, we're hoping that folks join in and kind of find that fire to help us over the next 6 months, and then, enjoy the fruits of their labor. The current board, when we were talking about how to make the space and what to do with it, we were even talking about, there is going to be a stage. And so we're going to be able to do open night mics. We're going to be able to do amateur drag nights. We're going to be able to do poetry slams. We're going to be, you name it, we can do it as long as the community wants to step up and volunteer and help us out. But it's pretty much, we'll be there as a space, and however folks in the community want to use the space, they're more than welcome to come in and use it.
Hey, welcome to our continuing series of cooking segments here. I'm Rob Waldron, owner of Catering by Rob, and this is our chef, Chef Bailey McIntosh.
Hello.
Today we're going to show you how to make a really great snack. This is going to be a pulled barbecue chicken slider. And what we do, we add a little coleslaw on top and we put it on a pretzel bun. That gives it the really good kick. So we're going to start off by making a simple coleslaw. Chef Bailey will show you that.
Here's the coleslaw I already have. It's cut up. It's cabbage and carrots, and it's already been cut and ready. So just basically take a handful of that. You don't need a whole lot depending on how many sliders you're going to make. So I'll just put a little bit in here, and I will spoon in a little bit of coleslaw dressing. You can either grab a recipe offline, or you can buy coleslaw dressing of your choice at the store.
And they make several different dressings. They make, you can go to Kroger's, you can get their brand, you can get the Marzetti's brand, you can get the Pine Cub brand.
You can get Kraft.
Kraft, yeah, so.
Or you can make your own. And I always like to season it up. A little bit of salt and pepper here. And just about everything that I make, I always put my special seasoning. It's
a little Bailey dust.
You'll see that a lot throughout our segments here. Okay. And then once that's ready, that's the first thing I like to do, because I like to give it enough time so that some of the dressing can soak into the cabbage and the carrots, and so it'll give it a really good flavor.
Okay.
So we'll do that and set that aside.
Right. So the next thing we're going to do the chicken. Actually, the chicken takes a little bit of time, probably about 6 hours, because what you want to do, you want to cook it so well that it just falls apart. So basically, in a crock pot, usually the night before, I just lay out the chicken breast. We turn the crock pot on high for a few hours, and we just let the chicken cook after we season it up and everything. And oh yes, we use the Bailey dust on the chicken also. So basically, now we have the chicken breast. It's already been cooked. So now we're just going to throw it in this bowl here, and we're going to shred it. And basically, by shredding it, we take 2 forks, and we just pull it apart. And we just keep pulling it apart till it comes apart in little strings of chicken. And there we go. If I was at home, I'd be strolling this with my fingers, but since, we want to show you the right way to do it. So after we have the chicken all shredded up, and we'll show you a little bit of that. This chicken's all shredded here. We want to add barbecue sauce. Now again, there are lots of barbecue sauces out there. They're, from Sweet Baby Ray's to the generic brands to our personal favorite, Montgomery Inn. So we just take some of that, and we'll just put some barbecue sauce in there.
Or of course you can make your own, and
right?
we
Brown
always
sugar and
we
all
always
that.
like to doctor it up a little bit, anyways, regardless of what
Watch.
kind we get.
A little Bailey dust in there, a little salt and pepper, just to give it a little kick. And we're just going to keep mixing this up.
And while he's mixing that, we take a pretzel bun, and it's really like a roll, so it's not necessarily a bun. So what we do is we just cut them in half, just like so, pretty even.
Now you got a little slider bun.
And then now you have a little slider bun.
I think we're going to need a little bit more barbecue sauce here.
You can never go wrong with too much barbecue sauce.
One of the things I like to do with my barbecue sauce, believe it or not, a little Coca-Cola and brown sugar gives it a great kick.
Or you can add a little bit of hot sauce to it if you want it to be spicy.
Little hot sauce.
Oh, red pepper flakes, depending on what you like. You season it up the way you want.
So now we have that. Now we're going to grab a plate, and I guess we can put a couple of these buns on there. We'll just do the bottoms first. How's that?
Lay out the bottoms on the plate.
Let's get this out of the way. And we're going to scoop the barbecue sauce right on there. Or the pulled chicken, I should say.
Make sure you put a nice amount of chicken on there so you get the flavor.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want is a lot of bread.
Right.
So the more meat,
You don't want
hide
to.
the bread.
Right. You definitely don't want to overpower the chicken because that is the star. The protein, in my opinion, is always going to be the star. So you want to make sure that there is enough on there. That looks great.
Yeah, that's good.
That looks great.
Okay, so now we've done that. We've got the chicken on there.
And is what I like to do is you can either take the top bun or you can just pile it right on top of the chicken. And I use that as kind of a scoop
There you go.
to put that on there.
Here's the other one. There you go. Now we've done some variations with this. You know, the health conscious, they love that kale that's going around now. They can make an awesome kale slaw. Give it some Asian flavors. So now you have the barbecue sauce, the sweet, and the Asian flavors of the kale slaw.
And with the kale slaw, I usually use a type of like a poppy seed vinaigrette dressing to mix that with, and I add some, sesame seeds and crunch to it.
And to add a little bit little healthiness here, instead of regular potato chips, we're using some sweet potato chips as our little garnish and something to there. And there you have it. There is a barbecued chicken, pulled chicken slider on a pretzel bun. Let's taste this first.
Okay,
Here we go.
here we go.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. We'll see you next time.
That sounds amazing, and a lot of the new opportunity with the new move. So I'm excited for the LGBT Center, and I can't wait to see how that turns out and what goes with those opportunities and who takes those up. Lastly, I just wanted to give you the opportunity, any other additional information, any programs you've done in the past or are currently doing that you'd like the audience to know?
I mean, really, it just comes down to the Greater Dayton LGBT Center has been an institution in Dayton for a long time. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've gone with the flow as Dayton's grown and shrank and grown again, and so anybody that can support the center in any way, whether that be giving time, whether that be making a financial donation, whether that be both. That is always appreciated at the center. And knowing that it turns right around and goes right back into the community. So everything that's given, every hour of volunteering, every dollar that comes in goes right back out into the community in various ways. when we get down into like all of our different programs that we've been able to do just in the lease space that are going to become bigger and better now in an owned space. We do quarterly community dinners that are free dinners. You get fellowship, you get dinner, and you get some entertainment. And one year, I think one of our biggest dinners, we had over 125 people come in and get a full Thanksgiving feast. And entertainment, and it's just a great way to have that community and that fellowship. Beyond things like that, we put on actually this upcoming weekend is Bowling for Pride. It's already sold out, but if you want to come and buy raffle tickets or volunteer at the event, that's coming up this Saturday. The 11th of February is the annual Women's Valentine's Day dance. So unfortunately, you and I are not invited, but any ladies out there that want to go, it's a women's only dance. And we put that on every year. Then we'll be getting into Pride planning, and then Pride the first weekend of June. We've done some movie nights in the past. We have, as far as like support groups, we've got Brothers in Unity, which is an HIV support group for the BIPOC folks. We have a Positively Teens HIV group for kind of the younger folks in our community. We have our regular HIV group that meets. Those are all support groups. We have the Alcoholics Anonymous, specific LGBTQ Alcoholics Anonymous groups that meets weekly. We have our weekly free yoga. We do health clinics. We do STI and HIV testing quarterly. So, there's so much that goes on at the center that it is truly an amazing gift to the community. Check us out at DaytonLGBTCenter.org or on Facebook or on Instagram.
It's always amazing to hear the amazing work that the LGBT Center provides Dayton. Well, thank you, RJ McKay, for joining us today with the Greater Dayton LGBT Center. And thank you to everyone watching. This has been Queeries. Until next time, have a wonderful day.